The issue of indiscipline in schools is back in the spotlight following the arrest and charge of a high school student for illegal gun possession on the compound of a learning institution. Is it a reflection of the broader prevalence of firearms on the streets and chronic gun crime? The problem of indiscipline in schools is a complex issue that can have a significant impact on the learning environment and the academic performance of students. Indiscipline can manifest in various forms, such as disruptive behavior, lack of respect for authority, truancy, bullying, and academic dishonesty. Despite this uphill battle, Education Minister Shawn Edward, who has vowed to take stern measures, says he is not about to give up on the nation's youth.
But we can't give up on the children. As I've said time and again, students are products of the wider society. And when we see acts of indiscipline surfacing in the schools, things that you would normally associate with adults, we must ask the question, where did the children learn those things? Where did they copy those things? But that is not me in any way condoning acts of indiscipline in schools. As I have said time and again, we will provide all the psychosocial support that our children need. But by the same token, we will take a very hard stance on acts of indiscipline in schools to ensure that the learning environment is not compromised, particularly for those students whose parents go beyond the call of duty to provide for the education of their children.
The era of the elderly night watchman, referred to as watchy, chasing down practical jokesters and trespassers, Zeitgeist 1980 Saint Lucia, is over. Now the prowlers are armed robbers packing heat with malevolent intent. The pernicious threats to the school compound also include gangs, rival factions, as well as maladjusted disruptive parents, all looking for payback due to a lack of soft skills in conflict resolution.
Gone are the days when you would just take an individual and give them a job as a watchman. The school plant is expensive to maintain and even more expensive when new ones have to be constructed. And so we must look at that from a security standpoint and not just giving somebody a job because they happen to be a watchman. The security apparatus now has to be a lot more encompassing than what we knew. Even security during the school day when teachers and students are basically engaging each other, you have to ensure that their safety is not compromised, and whatever measures we put in place will be for the benefit of the teachers, the students, and all the different stakeholders who happen to be on the school plant at any given time on a school day.
Then there is the return to pre-pandemic levels of mid-afternoon loitering and idleness by restive students in uniform who run afoul of the law and embrace public disorder. Policymakers readily concede that no after-school program is the sole elixir to treat this affliction, as they believe the deviant behavior is a symptom of a chronic malady that ails St. Lucia society.
I think firstly it starts at home. Every child lives at home, and it is incumbent on the parents, the guardians, to impress on their children to be home by a certain time after dismissal. Not every child will be in conformity with the rules or the guidelines provided by the parents. Then that has to be reinforced at the school level, where principals and teachers encourage children to go home by a certain time and to ask them to refrain from loitering in the streets of the city. Then the police comes in to ensure, by way of patrols, that children do not loiter. So, as I said, it calls for a multi-pronged approach. We are dealing with a very restless society of young people. But we will never, under my ministerial watch, give up on the children of Saint Lucia, irrespective of the level of deviance we see. We will resort to taking corrective measures as much as possible, but by the same token, when children have to be admonished, they will be punished. But the ultimate objective of any intervention we make as a ministry, or I make as a minister, is for the holistic development of every one of the 26,000+ children entrusted in my ministerial care.
Edward told news reporters that he cannot do it alone, stressing the importance of cultivating a healthy relationship with all stakeholders to ensure educational opportunities to foster the development of well-rounded model citizens. Last month, a police memo calling for the long arm of the law to crack down on student loitering was rescinded in the wake of protestations from education stakeholders who emphasized the need for civic engagement to address the multifaceted problem. Joachim Duplessis, HTS News Force.